So, you want to know about winter. What is it going to look like? Well, last winter we had plenty of snow, 16 inches in Longport on January 5th. And we also had 4 nor'easters during the month of March, not to mention record-breaking cold temperatures as we got to the end of December and into the beginning of January here. So let's look at what winter could bring for us here in South Jersey. First, we got to start with the basics. What is our climatology? What do we see on average across South Jersey? This light blue line is the 32-degree line. We have our high temperatures in red. We have our low temperatures in the darker blue. And you see our low temperatures here, they go below 32 from the early part of December until about the middle of March, which is our snow season. High temperatures, they can get down on average into the low 40s during January. Of course, it can be colder than that, or it can be warmer than that. But now we set our base for when snow usually falls here in South Jersey. Here are some winter stats. The shore gets a little less snow than the mainland. We end up between a foot to a foot and a half. We have seen as much as just shy of 4 feet of snow in 2010, and there have been times at the shore where there have been no snow, and even a couple more than that have seen less than 2 inches of snow. Largest snowfall event, 1.5 feet at Atlantic City Marina in 1908. Now those records have moved over to Atlantic City International Airport, and yes, there have been a number of times where we've seen 4 days in a row of snow. Whether you like it or not, we have seen that. So let's look at our winter forecast. What are we talking about? What are the factors at play? Well, we're looking at ENSO, the El Nino Southern Oscillation, which is in short, are the water temperatures above average or below average along the equatorial Pacific off the coast of South America. We also want to look at sea surface temperatures outside of that zone, and then also snow extent, both in Siberia and in Canada as well. This is our ENSO state. We want to look over here. This is where we're getting close to winter. Notice those blues over there? Now that means a La Nina. That typically means a warmer pattern for us. Of course, we did have plenty of snow during last winter, and we were still in the La Nina pattern. But we start to get into those blacks here. That is a neutral phase, and we are likely to go into an El Nino as we go into this coming winter. In fact, there are 4 regions of El Nino, and all 4 of them went from negative to positive in 2018, reestablishing the fact that El Nino is likely to develop. Now, when you're in an El Nino pattern, you get an active southerly jet here. And while that's not a strong signal for us, that does mean that South Jersey does look to be a little more active than usual in terms of storms. Meanwhile, our La Nina pattern, jet stream, comes from Alaska all the way through about the middle tier of the United States and brings us warmer air here. The jet stream cuts north of us before it gets to us here in South Jersey. So again, more active for our region, but that is a weak signal. So let's look at some other things. We have our El Nino here. Notice those warmer than average water temperatures. And then we go to the Gulf of Alaska, where it's been record warm there over the fall, even into Alaska itself. In the jet stream, that river of air that separates the warm air to the south and the cold air to the north, well, it wants to go north into Alaska because there's all this warm air here. That means the jet stream comes back down towards North America and then cuts up somewhere across the East Coast, giving us another check towards an active or stormy winter as we go into 2018 and 2019 season. We also have warmer temperatures along the southeastern United States, and that could mean colder air for us if the storm is strong enough. On the other hand, could also mean that we draw in more of that warm air. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Let's look at our October snow cover here. Everywhere in brown shows the snow cover at the beginning of November, just after October ended. We had a good amount of snow cover over in central and eastern Canada. And when you have good snow cover, it allows the polar air to remain cold for longer before it reaches New Jersey. What we want to look at is our snow anomaly. Anywhere you're seeing the purples, those mean that we have snow above average. And we see that now in central and eastern Canada. That means for us that any air that travels that route will be able to stay colder for longer. However, we also said in Siberia, you want higher snow cover because if you want the snow here in South Jersey, you want the snow there in Siberia during the month of October. It's a little lower than usual, which might mean that while the air masses, when they originate in Siberia, may not be as below average as they could be, they could still stay cold for a long period of time as they go through Canada. So let's get into it. Let's look at our 2018-2019 winter. Our partners at AccuWeather have us in the wintry mix zone, which is great, but we can break it down a little more than that here in South Jersey. Let's start out with some details here. December starts out calmer and milder. Then it turns active from the later part of January into early March. Nothing unusual for us, but we are going to see that as we go into 2019. Temperatures overall look to be changeable, but at the end of the day, should wind up a little bit below average. And again, between the El Nino pattern, the warm Gulf of Alaska, and even the warm waters off the coast of the southeastern United States, that promotes big storm potential. However, is it going to be wet or is it going to be white? Those are the things that we're not going to know just yet. We know it's going to be stormy this winter. We know temperatures are going to change, but we don't know exactly if it's going to be above average snowfall or below average snowfall. That X factor is the warmer waters off the east coast of the United States. On one hand, it can pull in that warmer water because southeast winds with a coastal storm around the clockwise spinning low, the counterclockwise spinning low, means that it is mainly rain. However, on the other hand, it could also become so strong that it ends up turning those southeast winds into northeast winds. And if we do that, then we draw in the cold air, and then we see more snow here for South Jersey. So remember, it is more than just snow. Winter forecasts and winter storms involve more than just what's falling from the sky. Doesn't mean a lack of impacts if we see all rainstorms here. Remember, we have coastal flooding and lots of it here in South Jersey. This was Avalon. This, as we go forward, is in Holguin. This was all from this past March with our 4 nor'easters. Lots of beach erosion can occur. We do see coastal flooding at our peak during these nor'easters, which are more likely during the winter months. So with that, we have an article for you on thepressofac.com/weather. And for more information, not only about this winter, but how to prepare yourself about the storm, how to protect yourself. In addition, we talk about some of South Jersey's most notable events and photo galleries. You can go to our new weather center at thepressofac.com/weather center. Have a great winter, everybody.